for joining this piece of SUNY Oswego's Imagine 2022 program. This interview is part of the week's 2 programming surrounding the theme of Imagine Excelling. My name is Amaya Corporan, and I am a current senior graduating in 2022 with a degree in psychology. I am a student ambassador for Future Alumni Networking, also known as FANS. I am joined today by Ryan Pleskach, the CEO and co-founder of ResilienX. Thanks for joining us, Ryan.
Absolutely.
To jump right in, you're fine. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, including your current position and the company itself?
Sure, thank you. Well, you covered the current position just fine in the company itself. From a background perspective, I grew up in Lewis County, up in what I call the real upstate New York, but I guess most people call it North Country. So Syracuse was always kind of my the stomping grounds, right in the backyard. Whenever we went to the mall, we came to Carousel. It will always be Carousel Center for me instead of Destiny. So I grew up there. I went to Clarkson University, bounced around the DC area for a few years after graduation, relocated back to Syracuse in 2011, and I've been here ever since. ResilienX is really a startup in its purest sense, right? We had an idea on a whiteboard, and we started the company in late 2018 when we found out we were accepted into the Genius New York program. That is an accelerator based at the Tech Garden in Syracuse, and it's the largest accelerator in the world for companies that have a focus on unmanned systems. So in 2019, we were one of the 5 finalists. We received $500,000 in startup funding, and since joining that program, we've since attained about a little over $2 million in R&D funding from the U.S. Air Force, the Navy, the state of Ohio, the FAA, and NASA.
Wow, that sounds wonderful. So what are the top skills and abilities you look for when hiring for your organization?
Yeah, sure. So I'll give a little bit more, I guess, background on what ResilienX is and what we do. We are a software company, and we provide what we call health and integrity management or health awareness solutions for autonomous ecosystems. Really, we have this vision of the future where drones are flying around delivering tacos on campus, autonomous cars are delivering people instead of Uber drivers, and all of this is going to rely on a bunch of infrastructure that's being provided from different companies. There's not going to be one company that provides everything, a whole soup to nuts solution. Lockheed Martin, Boeing, some of your traditional larger aerospace and defense contractors, they will certainly provide some solutions, but especially when you start talking about a smart cities environment, you're going to need civil engineers, infrastructure engineers, mechanical engineers. So these solutions are going to come from a bunch of disparate companies, and our software is designed to thrive in that kind of environment because we don't rely on proprietary data sets, and we can integrate with all those different companies and provide what we call data quality assurance, so that you can ensure that one autonomous system that's being fed information from another, you can trust the information that you're being fed, you can rely on it, you can make decisions based on that information. So we like to think of ourselves as an underlying layer of software that provides safety assurance, and we adopted that term from NASA, safety assurance for these autonomous ecosystems. So to come back to your question, what do we look for? We're very heavily focused on software engineers, people who have experience with, Python in particular, some other coding languages as well, but Python is really the one we strive for the most. Amazon Web Services, anybody with experience working in the cloud, we deploy our software to the cloud. We also focus on systems engineers, and a lot of colleges don't offer a true systems engineering program, but typically those come from people with electrical engineering or computer engineering backgrounds.
That sounds very informational. So what are some different things you might look for in a current student or recent graduate's application specifically?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The one thing that I want to stress is we don't look for the perfect student. We don't look for a 4.0. We look for people who have experience, and believe it or not, we look for people with failure. students and people, individuals, we firmly believe learn more from failure than they do from a lifetime of, riding high on success. How have you faced adversity? How have you overcome adversity? How have you adapted and, kind of evolved your thinking? And, we're engineers, right? So we like to have scripted answers, but when something goes off, off script, how do you adapt? How do you adjust? How do you overcome that adversity? To us, that's much more important than having somebody with a 4.0 and an internship at IBM. And, you can look great on paper, but still lack a lot of the soft skills that you need to be successful, especially in a startup environment.
Correct. Like the human skills of like adapting to like even a new environment or anything that is thrown at you is definitely a variable, wonderful component to have.
Absolutely.
So how might you recommend a new professional work to advance their career?
Ooh, so I read a good book by Ken Coleman called The Proximity Principle. And that's all about trying to understand who you are as a person, what you want to do, and how do you get there. I don't want to say dream job because it's not quite a dream job, but it's how do you leverage the network of people around you, the proximity, right? To, can you go shadow somebody for a day and understand what their job is? Okay, if their job is sitting in front of a computer for 8 days and you like to be an outdoors person, that's probably software engineering is probably not the job for you. But it's a great book that I would recommend to anybody who is either first time job placement, or somebody who's even looking to maybe change career fields, right? Maybe you've been a software engineer for 10 or 12 years and you're fed up with it and you need something different. That's a book I would highly recommend. Really informational on how you can deconstruct yourself and understand what your skills are, what you're good at, and then how you can have fun and make money applying those skills to a job or to a work environment.
Yes, correct. That is a very important component to love what you do and also be able to go into anything that you would love to do too. What are some final tips and recommendations do you have to share with our students and recent grads on how they can create standout application materials or elevate their brand?
That's a great question. So I don't necessarily like the term elevating an individual brand, right? Because as a company, when an individual is coming to me, right, I'm looking for specific things based on the job requirements. And to me, when somebody is talking about is more focused on elevating their brand, that speaks to an individual rather than being part of a team. And being a startup, we're 6 employees. Every person I hire has to be the right hire. One of the most important the most challenging aspects of running a startup is if you make a wrong hire, it sets you back in time, it sets you back in money, and hiring is incredibly expensive just in general in the corporate world. And it's magnified even more when you're a startup. So my advice would be, how can you stand out on paper to show that you're going to help our company based on your job skills and everything. I'll do a little self-promotion here for our company, ResilienX. We are a member of the Startup New York program, which means we can offer tax-free personal income tax exemptions for people that join our company. We are also tied in here to the Tech Garden. It's a great collaborative environment. You're going to be around entrepreneurs. You're going to be around different companies. You're going to get to sit in on lectures and, ranging from everything from marketing to business planning, writing grants, things like that. So as an organization, I can provide a lot of soft benefits to employees, and I don't want them to worry about, what they need to build their brand. Because with our company, you're going to get it just by the nature of us being a startup. Everybody that joins us is asked to take on more, you got to punch above your weight, right? A junior engineer that we hire on day one, by year 2, we really want that person to be operating as if they're a senior engineer. And we're going to give you all the tools you need to be successful and build your brand. But when I'm looking to hire, I need to see on paper, at least at first on paper, how is this person going to help the team? And then when we have that one-on-one interview, right, I want to get to know you as a person, and understand, does your personality fit with what we're looking for? We try to do culture interviews first, right? Try to get to the bottom of who this person is. And because we don't want to waste your time, and we don't want to waste our time either, right?
Mm-hmm.
We try to do culture interviews first, then a technical interview, and then if needed, sometimes we do a third interview, but usually after the first two, it's fine. So again, I want to stress, we try to look for how can you help the team, and we can provide a lot of soft benefits in addition to medical and health and all that, and equity in a company, to help you really build your brand. And we understand that not everybody is going to be with us in the long haul for 8 years until we build a unicorn company and sell it, right? We will absolutely help employees build themselves through skills and then through exposure to some of the other things here at the Tech Garden ecosystem.
It's definitely important to ask those kind of scenario questions to understand how they work through a team. So that is very vital.
Yeah.
So this has been very awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your time and knowledge with our Laker family, Ryan. And thanks also to those who have watched. We hope you'll continue to keep an eye out for more Imagine 2022 programming to come. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Thanks again. Ryan.
Bye.
Bye.